Welcome everyone. Today we will start with a new chapter, Virtually True by Paul Stewart. Let us at first know some information before we proceed with the wonderful story of Virtually True, a futuristic story by Paul Stewart. Do you play computer games? I think many of you do. How many hours do you spend playing games on the computer as compared to outdoor games? I hope many of you will answer that you hardly go out to play any outdoor games. And there is no question of going and playing outdoor games, particularly in this critical time. Make a list of your favorite games, have a discussion. Class discussion is not possible, we can understand, on the advantages and disadvantages of computer games. We must have a discussion, prolonged discussion on this. Look in your dictionary, computer, to find synonyms for the word virtual. And finally, look at the KWL chart given below. Based on the information you have gathered till now, means the information that you have come with the discussion, complete the K and W columns. You may work with your partner. After reading the story, complete the third column. I hope you can complete this to the extent possible on your behalf. Let's go ahead. Let me introduce you to Paul Stewart. Paul Stewart, born June 1955, is a writer of children's books, best known for three series written in collaboration with the illustrator Chris Riddle: The Age Chronicles, The Freelance Novels, and the Far-Flung Adventures series. Paul Stewart lives in the British seaside city of Brighton with his wife and children. He is particularly well known for his science fiction. The most notable is, of course, Virtually True. I think he is quite an interesting person, and his True is worth reading, and we will definitely enjoy reading Virtually True by Paul Stewart. Let's go ahead. By the way, what is the meaning of the word virtually? It means almost entirely, nearly, almost. And as far as its usage in the world of computer is concerned, it means using a computer to do or see something instead of going to a place or talking to a person. Let's go ahead. Let's go to the summary of the story. This is a story of a boy named Michael who is crazy for computer games. His father also likes to buy the new gizmos and gadgets. So, on a trip to the computer fair, they purchase mini computer accessories and a couple of games. Michael plays mini games and finds them different from those he had played earlier. In each of these games, namely Wild West, Dragon Quest, Jailbreak, he has a companion who gets killed in the end of the game. This player sends messages on Michael's printer asking for help to rescue him. Initially, Michael feels that this is a part of these latest games. But later, a news report of a miracle recovery of a boy helps him find the truth. The picture of the boy in the news resembles his gaming companion, and Michael is intrigued. Upon reading the news, he comes to know that the companion is a boy named Sebastian who had met with an accident but playing the Psycho Drive game. As a result, his memory got trapped in the computer's memory and he was in coma. Michael had purchased these games at the fair, and these were the same games that had been stolen from Sebastian's car at the time of the accident. Michael helped his companion to escape from the game named War Zone, and hence his trapped memory was retrieved. So, the boy in coma, Sebastian, regained consciousness and thanked Michael for rescuing him from the virtual world. So, you can understand how there is a thin layer separating the real world and the virtual world, and somehow the virtual world and the real world conjoins together. And the fact, the character of the real world is found in the virtual world, and through a series of games that the boy who was lost in the virtual world is retrieved, and that is directly concerned, directly connected with his recovery, miracle recovery, in fact, in the real world. Let's go ahead and go through the detail of the text. Now let us read the story. Sebastian Salt, it isn't a name you come across every day, but there it was, large and clear at the top of the newspaper article in front of me. The reader of the newspaper was a big woman. I couldn't see her face, but I could hear her wheezy breaths. See, the word notes are also given, so you can consult with the word note. Miracle recovery, the headline said. Sebastian Schultz, a 14-year-old schoolboy from South London, awoke yesterday from a coma that doctors feared might last forever. It couldn't be the Sebastian Schultz I had met. I leaned forward to read the rest of the article. So we know very well that we are by this time introduced to two characters. One real character who is also the narrator of the story, as well as a character who is lost in the world of the game. And we will come to know the details of which as we go along. But excuse me, but there's a reference of some miracle recovery. Whose miracle recovery? Sebastian Schultz. Now we will go through the entirety of the story and try to find step by step how that Sebastian Schultz had a miracle recovery and what was that connection with the world of the game. Let's go ahead. It couldn't be the Sebastian Schultz I had met. I leaned forward to read the rest of the article. 6 weeks ago, Sebastian Schultz was badly injured in a motorway accident. His condition on arrival at the general hospital was described as critical, though stable. Despite doctors' hopes, the boy did not regain consciousness. His parents were informed that the son was in a coma. At a press conference, Mrs. Schultz said, the doctors were doing all they could, but in our hearts, we knew we needed a miracle. Now that miracle has happened. At that moment, the woman's hand moved. I suddenly saw the photograph that went with the story and gasped. The boy in the picture was Sebastian. There was no doubt. But how? I muttered. Sebastian Searles, the boy I had got to know so well recently, had apparently been in a coma for all that time. I felt nervous and shivery. It didn't make any sense at all. I stared out of the train window and ran through the events in my head. So he was, at that point of time, he was in a train. But whatever we will be finding henceforth, we will see it is his recollection. He is recollecting some things, certain incidents that he went through in the world of game. So he's narrating the entire incident. Let us understand that. It all started a month ago. Dad and I had spent the entire Saturday afternoon at the computer fair. That's nutty about computers. He's got a Pentium 150 megahertz processor with 256 of RAM, a 1.2 GB hard disk drive, and 16 speed CD-ROM, complete with speakers, printer, modem, and scanner. It can do anything: paint, play music, create displays. Even when my homework's rubbish, it looks fantastic. Best of all other games: Tornado, Maybe Bash, Black Belt, Kyrie's Castles. I played them all with the screen so big and the volume up loud. It almost feels as if you are inside the games, battling it out with the Zeds or Bs, Twister or whatever. Okay, so he is giving the description of the kind of computer and its configuration that his father bought him in a computer fair. Let's go ahead. Technology was advancing every day, and Dad couldn't resist any of the new gadgets or gizmos that came on the market. That was why we went to the computer fair. We came away with a virtual reality visor and glove and a handful of the latest interactive Psycho Drive games. They are terrific. Not only do the visor and glove change what you see, but better than that, you can control the action by what you are thinking. Well, cool. When we got them, I remember some of them were not new. Anyway, back at home, I launched myself off into the first of the games. It was called Wild West. Naturally, this is what happens if you have come across a game. Do you wait to play? You don't wait. You literally jump into it. You don't care whether you have a study or you're having your eating time or whatever. So the first game that he launched himself into is called the Wild West. So do remember the first game that he's playing is called Wild West. That's what I like about computers. The more futuristic they get, the better you can understand the past. I wasn't standing in the converted loft, the power base, as that calls it, anymore. So it was the place where he was standing while playing the game. He was thinking like that. I was really there, striding down the dusty track through the center of town. There was a sheriff badge pinned to my shirt. As I burst in through the swing doors of the saloon, everyone went. Everyone went silent and cleared at me. I strode over to the bar. Sarsaparilla, I said, and a glass of fizzy red stuff came sliding along the bar towards me. As I took a seat, I heard a loud crash. I spun around. There, Silhouetted in the doorway was black-eyed Jade, the fastest gun in the West. This town isn't big enough for the both of us. Sheriff Dawson, he drawled and fingered his gun slightly. Outside, just you and me. I can remember grinning. This was really cool. I finished my drink and slammed the glass down on the bar. Jade had already left the saloon. All eyes were on me again. I wondered what sort of score I was notching up. See, this often happens while we are playing game. We often wonder how much we have scored, but nonetheless, we get lost into the game of the world to the extent that we forget that we exist in the real world. We feel as if we exist in the world of the game, and hence the challenges thrown presented in the world of game becomes our own challenge. We become one of the characters in the game. I hope this happens with you all. Let's go ahead. All at once, something strange happened. Up to that point, the game had been pretty much as as I expected. But when the second sheriff appeared through the back door, shouting and waving his arms about, I realized that the game was more complicated. See, as he was going through it, he was understanding that the game was not so easy as it appeared. Don't go out, the second sheriff shouted. And who are you? I asked. He wasn't like the other characters in the saloon. For a start, he was about my age. And though he looked like a computer image, he somehow didn't move like one. I hope you're getting the points very clearly. Let's go ahead. After the end of the class, do go through these points in details. If you have any problem, do not hesitate to let me know. I hope you can understand all the points so far clearly. Let's go ahead. There. There's no time to explain, he shouted. Just follow me. I did what I was told. We raced down a corridor and through a door. We ran past some men and out through another door. Come on, shouted the other sheriff. We went on through another door and another and ended up back in the saloon. No, screamed the second sheriff. Then he ran to the back of the saloon and dived through the window. By the time I climbed out after him, he was already sitting on a horse. Jump up, he cried. He kicked the horse and we sped off in a cloud of dust. Who are you? I asked again. But the second sheriff didn't answer. He had seen the pose of men on horseback speeding after us. Keep your head down, he said at that moment. So they were racing past and they saw that they were being followed by a group of men on horseback. At that moment, the sound of a gunshot echoed round the air. The second sheriff groaned and slumped back against me. Ahead of me, in bright neon lights, came a message, game over. So it is as if he failed in the first level of the game. So it was like the first level of the game. It was quite adventurous, quite interesting, but unfortunately he couldn't crack the first level at the first go. Let's we will go ahead in the second part and we will see whether he will be able to crack the second level or henceforth whatever game which he is coming across. This is what we have in this first part. In the first game, we will next day we will go through the details of the other games which are included, which the character Michael plays, and we will also try to come to realization that how Sebastian met Michael, though they did not meet in the real world at all. Thank you very much.